So, hey guys, what is up? I was just reading some of your comments, and it looks like a lot of people enjoyed last night's episode. I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was along the same lines as the week before. There's a couple of things I want to ask you and talk to you guys about, but I'm just going to say hello to everyone who's in the room because there's a lot of you here tonight. So, hi, Louisa, Firkin, Deja, Snowberries, Megapoke, Luke, um, Vanessa, Kiara, Daniel, Carly, Callie, I'm not sure. I don't know if you haven't seen this episode, just a quick shout out and hi to Ashley and William. If you haven't seen this episode, we will be discussing everything that is happening. So I know I saw someone say no spoilers. So sadly, we will be talking about what happened in this episode. So if you want to jump out and then come back, it'll be on my channel later. You can check up on it after you've watched this. We have Stavros and Pena and Carson and Baby Boy Chanel and Screamer Queen. So many people. Sherry, thank you guys so much for being here. So again, there will be spoilers because we're discussing this week's episode. So if you want to jump out now before we start discussing. So Carly says, you miss coming to these. Yeah, I think I hadn't seen you in a while. Thank you so much for being here. Okay, so we had Wes coming back as we knew from the preview from last week. And I need to ask you some questions about that. So the ending was really good. I enjoyed him. It was a little bit surprising when he killed Chamberlain. We have 2 more episodes left. But what I want to ask you is, I don't feel like he's the other green meanie because the green meanie came in on him and the dean, and when the green meanie came in on them, I immediately thought that was probably Grace, but I don't know, and I'm just wondering what you guys think, or if you think that they were wanting us to believe that he is the third green meanie because the promo for next week wasn't saying anything about who's the green meanie. It was saying who survives. So, yeah, we got Zayday kidnapped again. Jay, the episode was really good. We're talking a lot of spoilers here. Just a heads up if you don't want to be spoiled. Ashley says, you like that they mentioned Grace was at Stanford since in real life she quit the show to finish school at Stanford. Yes. I feel like they were almost listening to the viewers because I was so happy to see Wes back, and then a lot of talk about Grace, which makes me think she will come back. I really think so. So, we didn't really have a lot of Hester, but yeah, so that's what I'm thinking is Firkin saying you do not think that Wes is the other green meanie. I think Wes has just kind of lost his mind and freaked out, and he was planning on killing some people for revenge, so he just killed Chamberlain because he told Chamberlain his whole plan. That's what I think. I don't think Wes is the third green meanie because if so, we have another green meanie who was there when Wes and the dean were there. So I didn't see Brooke Shields in next week's promo, Sherry. That's interesting. Very interesting. So, well, I still don't think that Wes is the other green meanie, but I really liked the ending. I thought that was really good. I just liked all of it. I thought it was just a solid episode. I thought it was just as good as last week's, and there was also a lot of funny parts. I really enjoyed the fact that they actually mentioned Snapchat by name and used the actual filters, like the dog filter. I thought that was so funny. I really do like how they talk about stuff that we all do. Like Chanel talked about Spotify, and I just like how current it is. And I feel like the last 2 episodes have kind of been what we fell in love with in season 1. So I personally think that a lot of people have been telling me all season they think that Grace could be the third green meanie, and I really kind of do think that at this point. Louisa says, but you saw Cassidy saying there was another green meanie who he wasn't in cahoots with. Yeah, and I still think Grace fits into that because I don't think that he knows Grace. I hope it's not Hester again because that would just be really stupid. We can't have the same killer every single time. I just feel like that's really dumb. Luke says hopefully there are not a lot of killers. I know on the Scream Queens Twitter last night, they were asking if we thought they were going to reveal the third green meanie. So I feel like there's just 3 unless they want to surprise us with a 4th. But I don't know. Do I think a Chanel will get killed? Asked Daniel. No, not really. I really do think they should go there. But I think if they did kill a Chanel, it would just kind of be like a fake kill, kind of like they already did this season, and the person would be like still alive in season 3. I really don't think Zayday will die, Vanessa, but I could be wrong because they did. I mean, They killed off Denise, but I still think she's coming back maybe next week. And they supposedly killed off Chad, but I could still see him coming back. As Firkin is asking about the nurse, we didn't have Nurse Hoffel the entire episode. I don't think we had Cassidy either. That's okay to me because I think they were kind of boring, to be honest. Deja hated that Chamberlain died. You liked him as a character and thought he was funny. I know, I really liked him, and I liked this little relationship he was having with Deja, with Zayday. But, you know, I feel like he's one of those people who is a new addition, and they feel like they can dispose of all the new cast members, kind of. Well, the new non-famous cast members. Liam has heard that Niecy Nash is in the cast list for the finale. I definitely think so, and I think she's going to come back to life. Like, I don't think it's going to be like flashbacks. Luke is saying that Hester should show up. I think a couple other people were saying this earlier. Baby Boy Chanel and Luke saying that Hester should show up in the finale in the Red Devil costume and fight the Green Meanie. Actually, that would be really cool. I would really like that. Oh, yeah, we did have Cassidy in the beginning. Thank you. I've spaced out and forgotten that. But I'm still kind of hoping that Chad is still alive. I have hope. I really do. Vanessa's telling us that Brooke Shields will be playing another doctor. That's on IMDb. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, okay. I don't know much about her. She's kind of like a Kirstie Alley to me. I know they're both very famous and well-known. But sometimes I wonder what they are thinking when they put, like, famous. I know you have to have adults, but sometimes I wonder, like, I don't know. That's not really their demographic, so I don't know how many people know Brooke Shields. I don't know, but I don't know. I can't say I'm excited, but it's interesting. Carly says the costume guy this past episode reminds you a lot of Hector from Pretty Little Liars, the mask maker. Yes, I was really getting PLL vibes the whole time. They were in like that costume shop. He was so much like a PLL character, and that little costume store was really creepy, like a PLL costume store. That was super creepy. Is it I'm probably saying your name wrong. Ekali? I'm sure that's not right. But anyway, you're saying that Zayday could be killed by the Green Meanies. You know, that woman who I guess is like Cassidy's mom, she's freaking insane. Zayday definitely shouldn't have gone to her house alone. I know she was trying to contact Chamberlain, but of course, Chanel had her number blocked. So, hi, niece. Thank you so much for being here. Fergan wants to know if I think Cassidy's mom knows who the third killer is. Did she do that to Zayday all by herself? That was really elaborate and non-realistic and over the top, the way that Zayday was like tied up there. I mean, this show is not realistic, so I don't know if they want to make us think she had help or just make us think she did it on her own because nothing is realistic. I don't know. Daniel says in the trailer it shows one of the Green Meanies will die. Who do I think it will be? Well, I think really it could be anybody because I do feel like they will get rid of Kirstie Alley's character and Cassidy. I think both of them will be off the show, so I think either one could definitely die. Okay, so I guess Jamie Lee directed this episode and she did a really good job. I agree. I've liked the last two a lot. Liam says that Brooke is playing Dr. Scarlett Lovin, who the Chanels idolize. That's pretty funny. But I think the third Green Meanie is possibly Grace, actually. So Carly says in the synopsis, it said that Hester gathered a Green Meanie summit. Wes, Hester, Jane, and Cassidy have been seen together in the promo talking about the Chanels. Maybe that confirms it is Wes. Well, I mean, I just don't know how they want to make that make sense because there was a person in a Green Meanie costume who tried to attack Wes and the Dean. So it was obviously not him unless that was Cassidy or something. But Cassidy said he wasn't working with the third Green Meanie. I mean, unless that was Cassidy or Hoffel, but I don't know. Yeah, Vanessa is saying that Zayday wasn't very smart to drink that tea. I think that's in like a lot of horror films. You shouldn't like accept food or drink from strange people. So yeah, she definitely should have been smarter than that. Okay, so Vanessa says there was an homage to Halloween when the Green Meanie escaped from the window. Very cool. Of course, everyone probably knows that Jamie Lee was like the main star of the Halloween movie franchise. So Screamer Queen says you think Hoffel is going to kill Cassidy in the very last episode. Yeah, I mean, I think they're all going to die personally. I think John Stamos will die or move or something because I don't think they're going to be back for a third season, but I could be wrong. Ekali says you think that Scarlett is the ultimate Kappa so Hester could kill her because she hates her. Yeah, I guess that would be kind of interesting. I didn't know she was going to be like a sorority girl, or she may be just like the Chanels, but like an adult version, which is really funny. Levon says you low-key want the Red Devil versus the Green Meanie. That would be really funny, and it would kind of be like the Jason versus Freddy movies from a million years ago. Like when the Green Meanies kill, you hope Hester joins, but instead of a Green Meanie costume, she would wear her old Red Devil costume. I think that's a really good idea, and I think that would be really more funny than anything else, so that would be cool. Fergus says it would be kind of boring if Grace was the killer. You want someone from this season to be the killer. Yeah, I mean, I agree with you, but you have to remember that last season, the reveal of Hester was very underwhelming as our final killer, and it was very predictable. And like I've said a million times lately, I don't have super high hopes that we'll be surprised or shocked or whatever. If we are, like, that's amazing, but I just feel like it's just going to be kind of underwhelming who the killer is, and I'm more just watching like for the comedy and stuff, so I don't know. We'll have to see. Levon says Nurse Hoffel is the new Gigi, Cassidy is the new Boone, and Wes is the new Hester. Yeah, in a way, there's such a formula to this show, and they even did the whole baby thing this season, so you know, that's just how it is. Ashley says Cassidy is definitely going to get killed. I believe you. Daniel says you love the way that in next week's promo, Hester says, who gets to kill the Chanels to all three green meanies. Yeah, it's funny. Hester is insane, and it's in a funny way. Luke says you like how last season Zayday was kidnapped, and exactly one season later she's kidnapped again. Yeah, I mean, seriously, they keep repeating like the same things from season one. So I don't know. It doesn't bother me because, I'm not like, I don't take this as a serious mystery show. So Deja says she really liked the scene when the Chanels threw that party for Brock. That was really funny. I agree. The whole time you were thinking, how old does Chanel think Brock is? He's not that old. And I mean, when they said they were going to throw a party, I thought, and like when they said they were going to like learn all about him like in the past, like I thought maybe they'd do something about the 70s, or she would learn about the 70s, but they went way too far back, and it was funny. I mean, really funny. I thought that was so funny. Louisa thinks that they wouldn't have brought Wes in this season without needing something with Grace. I agree with you, and I really do think even if she's not the other killer, that she will come back, at least make an appearance or something. Stavros says you got a lot of Halloween vibes in the episode. The bathtub scene, when Zayday walked up to Cassidy's mom's house, and when he jumped out of the window. I have actually seen all of the Halloween movies, but I don't remember them as well as some of you guys do, and I've only seen them probably maybe twice at the most. So the only one I sort of remember is like it was like the reboot where it was like 20 years later with Jamie Lee. I remember that being pretty good, but I think that was a long time ago. Screamer says that your heart dropped when Wes killed Chamberlain. I was kind of surprised by that. Liam says if there's a third season, you hope they go back to how they did the show last season. Like around this time last season, you were constantly theorizing who the killer was. Yes, definitely. And I've talked about that in my last couple of videos, that I was really, really into theorizing, like who was the Red Devil, and I was all about it. And I remember when the finale was coming out, I was actually out of town, and I had to watch it on a plane. Like I had to download it and watch it. And I was like so nervous. And I remember thinking like it was good. And I don't know. I just know I'm not going to feel that same way this time, but it's just different this time around. William wants to ditch the baby backstory if we get a season 3. I mean, it would be cool if they ditched a lot of the like repetitive stuff and the same storyline every time, but I don't know, maybe that's part of the thing that they want to do. Like they purposely are doing that, like they think that that's cool or something, to kind of have the same set storyline but just in a different setting. Stavros says also there were lots of American Horror Story vibes, like when Zayday was poisoned, like Lana and Thredson, yes, and lots of the episode being filmed on a phone, like Roanoke. Yeah, so we had like, it was almost like Zayday was on like Snapchat or something, filming herself. And yeah, I mean, I love the way they incorporate all of the social media, and I think that fits really, really well with this show. So Kelly says that Hester and Chanel 3 deserve love, being a dark final girl instead of stereotypes or the virgin final girl. Yeah, definitely. And I think they both really, well, definitely like Chanel 3, like really wants a boyfriend as well. Um, oh, Louisa cried when Chamberlain died and your dad heard you and and he was confused. Yeah, it was sad. I mean, I do like Chamberlain. I will miss him. I was a little shocked, but I mean, I guess it's not like a huge character to kill, but it was a little shocking as well. So Deja says it was. I completely agree with you that it was really disgusting with Wes and his hair. Now we know that he made up that story, but when they showed like the close up of his scalp and like the hair follicles coming out of his scalp and there was like blood. I mean, that was so gross. It was honestly so realistic. I'm sure that was not real, but I mean, it wasn't real. And then he also said he didn't do it. He didn't really eat his own hair, but that was sickening. Absolutely. Daniel's asking how many people do I think will die in the last 2 episodes? Well, I mean, I don't know how big they want to go. I think they will kill off all of the new famous people. So like John Stamos and Taylor and Kirstie Alley. And if they're bringing Brooke Shields, they'll probably kill her like all the new people. But I don't know if they want to actually kill the people who have been in it for a long time. I mean, I could see them killing Wes as well. And if they bring Grace back, I could see her dying. So there really could be a lot of deaths just because we have a lot of characters that could be disposed of, really. I don't know if the finale is 2 hours. I haven't heard anything about that, but maybe, I don't know. I haven't heard that. Ashley's asking if anyone saw the red devil rubber ducky and the green meanie ducky. No, when Zayday was making the back. I didn't see that, but that's really cute. That's cool. I like that. Ferkin's asking something that we kind of talked about last week about season 3, like where should it take place? And I know a lot of people said there was some discussion about possibly having a summer camp theme this season. So a lot of people were thinking about that for next season, which I think would be good. Ralph is saying that Grace is the killer might happen. I definitely got those vibes last night. I agree with you. I really think it's a good possibility because, like, seriously, who else could it be at this point unless it's the Dean, or I don't really think it's one of the Chanels unless they want to make it Hester again. I don't know, because that would be really stupid. I think really it would be good if Grace was the killer again, honestly, because it would kind of make sense because, she's mad at the Chanel. She wants revenge and she's gone crazy. So Deja loves the fact that Brock wants to be with Chanel but have an affair with the Dean. He's literally like an older version of Chad because he had a thing with the Dean too. And it's really funny because literally everyone has a thing with the Dean, which is funny. And yes, I love it. I don't even know why he still wants to date Chanel because they have nothing in common. They just don't really have any chemistry. It's just silly and it's funny in the same way. Louisa says, you really haven't been loving this season up until this episode. Last night's episode was both laugh out loud funny and also had you on the edge of your seat. And I actually liked last week's episode as well. And they've definitely turned it around in these past couple of weeks. So it will be interesting to see what they do for the final 2 episodes. Let's hope we keep going down this path and it's funny and interesting all the same. Hi, Jessie. Thank you for being here. Fergus says Grace was the only sane person in season 1, and now she could be, yes, the killer. Right. It's like if you're around all that stuff, if you're normal and sane, you could definitely go crazy. Ralph says it all goes back to the GM not killing Zayday when given the chance. Right, because remember, Zayday was kind of an ally for Grace and a friend last season, so that definitely makes sense. Definitely. Daniel says on Leah Michelle's Snapchat, she said that's a wrap on season 2. So it looks like they did recently stop filming it, which makes sense. I didn't catch that one of hers, but I usually catch a lot of, some of these comments are not relevant. I usually catch a lot of her Snapchats, but I don't think I watched it yesterday. Let's see. Laurent says it makes sense for Grace to attack Dean Munch for starting another relationship with her dad. Right. I think I'm spitting on myself. I'm so sorry. That was the point where I was like, knew it was her, because I think even Wes made this statement like, somebody doesn't want us together. And of course it would be like Grace. Who else would care? Because I think the Dean automatically thought it was Brock, but it's not him, Oh, it was on hers today. Okay, well, I can still watch that then. Thank you. Yeah, as Jesse's saying and what we've been talking about this episode, made us think about last season. It really did. It was a lot more. The last 2 episodes have been a lot more like what we all loved in season 1. I think Hester's asking why doesn't the hospital have security cameras? And I think it's just because, you know, it's not really that realistic of a show or anything. So I don't think they wanted to get that technical and have everything like they should if it was like a real show, like a How to Get Away with Murder or something. So, I think it's supposed to be funny and stupid and unrealistic. And I think we all have to think more in that way. Because I feel like season 1, it was easier to take it more seriously and theorize more, a little more. I mean, I know it's still like unrealistic, but this season is like less realistic to me. Jesse says, so are all these green meanies, so are these all the green meanies, or there are more to be announced? I still don't take it as Wes being a green meanie. I still think there's one more who at this point most of us think could be Grace. Ralph says you think Grace is playing the Red Devil role and Wes would be the Gigi role. So Wes is kind of like the mastermind. Yeah, I completely agree. I agree. I really think that that's 90% likely to happen. Jacob says you think Wes is trying to cover for Grace. That's why one of the green meanies doesn't want to hurt Zayday. Or it seems like that green meanie probably was Grace who didn't hurt Zayday. That's what I think. Vanessa says it's Ryan Murphy. American Horror Story was connected in some ways most of the seasons. Maybe he's doing the same for this show. Yeah, I actually had that exact same thought, like, oh, that's so cool. I mean, we know this is uber connected because we have the carryover characters, so it's probably more connected than American Horror Story, but it's really cool that we brought back people who haven't been a part of it all season, but were a big part of season 1. So I really like that. I think that's really cool. So, hi, AEC. You asked me my favorite color like 14 times, so I wasn't sure if you were just trolling, but my favorite color is pink. But you're saying Scream Queens this season is messed up. Season 1 was good with comedy and drama, but this episode seemed, I guess you didn't like it. I don't know, there's part of your sentence missing. But yeah, that's what we've been talking about pretty much all season. But we think, most of us, I think, liked the last 2 episodes better than the rest of the season and think it's getting better. I don't know how you felt about that, but I've been pretty happy with the last couple episodes, and they seemed a lot like season 1, in my opinion. Daniel says you would love it if Grace is the last green meanie. That would be a shock. Yeah, I mean, I'm happy with that. I mean, is it the best idea ever? Is it the best reveal ever? No, but again, this is more of a comedy, a satire on horror shows than it is a serious theorizing show. Ralph says Cassidy has a green meanie costume. Hoffel has Cassidy's uncle's costume. Wes and Grace have the mail order. That makes so much sense. And, I don't know, maybe he sometimes is the green meanie and she sometimes is the green meanie. I'm not sure. Maybe they have shared that costume. Yeah, we haven't really had much of Hester this season, which is sad. I agree. She was hardly in it, last night. So Luke is asking, what if the green meanies kidnaps the Chanels and takes them to a dollhouse like PLL? I don't know if they're going to do that much. I mean, we only have 2 episodes, but you never know. You really never know. Yeah, Louisa says you can't with Chanel 5 as Shirley Temple. It was really funny. And I loved like how she wore her dress up so high that she actually looked so much shorter like a child. I don't know. It was really funny. Liam loved the horror teen Mean Girls feel last season. Exactly. That was definitely a good comparison. Whereas this season, it's more of a horror homage. But in this episode, Chanel was like the Chanel we loved last season, which you were happy about. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm hoping that the next 2 weeks will be good like the last 2 weeks have been. It gives me some hope because most of the season was pretty, meh. Like it just, just wasn't that great. Ralph says Hester being Grace's sister, she might be in on it. Well, remember, she's kind of been saying from the beginning that she knew who the killer was. So she was probably telling the truth. And I guess that Grace and Wes probably have been working on this all season. We just didn't realize it, and no one else realized it except for maybe Hester. So Deja says, how did Wes know about the green meanie costume? Either he looked up the history of the hospital or Hester found a way to contact him. You don't know. Pretty sure that doesn't make sense. Yeah, I mean, I guess if they want to or care to, if they even care to explain that, they could say that Hester has been talking to them all along because she has been saying she knew who the killer was. So That would make sense. My favorite character, well, I love Chanel #1. She's like, you love to hate her because she's so obnoxious and terrible. But of those who are left, but my absolute favorite characters were Chad and Denise. So I'm super sad that they're not in it currently. But I did really like Grace last year, actually. So it would be cool to me if she came back, like, in whatever way. Daniel says the green meanie who attacked Wes and the dean could be Grace. I think so. I definitely think so. And Jesse says you kind of hope Ryan Murphy kills everyone this season and the killers get away and he pulls like an American Horror Story and we get a new story because that would be interesting for season 3. I don't know. I don't know if he's wanting to kill off all the main cast, like if he wants to kill off Emma Roberts and everyone else. I don't personally think that would happen, but I guess you never know. William's asking for a season 3 in Hollywood. Yeah, that would be cool, but I just don't know. They probably need a little more to that. Like, I don't know what they would be doing in Hollywood, but of course, that setting, I would always like that, of course. Deja thinks that Hester set all of this up, but isn't doing the actual killings. Yeah, I'm hoping that's the case. I'm hoping she is not killing people this season because that's lame because she was the killer last season. So I think we've kind of figured it out. I think Hester, have been talking to Wes and Grace, and Wes and Grace are doing the killings, or just Grace. I think we figured it out. Laurent says Wes said he heard about the green meanie killings a few months or weeks back, and that's what gave him the plan to kill the Chanels and blame it on the other GM. But I do really think that Hester is involved and has been in communication with him. AEC says, do I think there will be a 3rd season, or is this it? Because a lot of people hate on this season. Well, we talked a lot about that in our last couple of chats, if you were here for those, and a lot of people didn't really know, and I don't really know, but I would just say since it's a Ryan Murphy show, I just feel like, yeah, I think there's a very good chance that there could be a 3rd season because, his stuff doesn't really get canceled. Kenneth is asking who the killer is. If you just joined us, we are talking about possibly Grace being the killer and also maybe her dad sharing that role. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know if it's just her or if it's, Grace and her dad. I'm not sure, but thank you for being here, Kenneth. I appreciate it. Yeah, Daniel says, I love the way we used to say RD and now it's GM. Yes, it's just easier with those. They're not really long names, but I think it's just easier. Just quickly wanted to mention that my video will be up tomorrow with my extended thoughts on this episode. And if you haven't subscribed, I'm still trying to reach 6K before 2017. It's kind of been a little slow because a lot of my shows have ended. So some people have unsubscribed because of that, which is sad because I still will do the same show that you subscribe for. I will be doing it when it returns, but whatever. But please don't unsubscribe just because this show ends or because something else ends. Please stick around. I subscribe to a lot of people and I don't even watch all their videos, but I watch the ones that look interesting. So anyway, but if you would thumbs up this video, I would really appreciate it. Angel says, hey, thank you so much for being here. Carson says, will anyone introduce this season make it to the next season? Maybe, or maybe it'll be a situation like Wes where they just kind of come back for a cameo as long as they don't die. Kenneth says if it's Grace, it would be a great surprise. I think so. And I'm really hoping for her being the killer. That's better, I think, than anything else they could come up with. Firkin says, hope we don't get a 3rd season so Emma Roberts can join the new season of American Horror Story. Well, I mean, I'm hoping that she's going to be in that crossover season, which is not supposed to be next season, but the Coven Murder House crossover. I don't see how they can have that without her unless they want to have new people like play her role. So I'm really hoping that she will do that, which may be the next year. No, you weren't trolling. You weren't. I just didn't know. Sometimes I get people in here who say really crazy things that aren't related to the topic, AEC, but you cleared it up and you started talking about the show, so that's fine. I was going to leave you anyway, unless you said like something insane. Thank you, Jesse. Yes, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. But I know some people like to keep their feeds, like if it's stuff that they're not interested in currently, then they'll come back around and subscribe when the show comes back. But, I wish everyone would stick around because I'm not cutting out any shows. If I am, I will tell you guys. Deja really wants Jamie Lee to be on the series. Yes, I think Jamie Lee being in a serious role in American Horror Story would be absolutely wonderful. Jacob says that Chad Radwell is coming back for the last episode. Did she die in American Horror Story? How did I forget that? See, I forget things sometimes. Anyway, Jacob says Chad Radwell is coming back for the last episode, Drain the Swamp, which is funny. That's a Donald Trump saying. Anyway, that's funny. I know they're using that on purpose. Thank you so much, Jacob. Oh man. Well, I mean, I hope that Emma will be back. I don't know. Anything could happen. Why have I forgotten that? If you've never been to New Orleans, you need to go there and check out the house where they filmed it. It's so cool. I did that this summer. I think I've said that 500 times, but it's literally so cool. But sadly, it is time for us to wrap this up, and I'm going to go film my video for tomorrow. Thank you guys so much for being here. This was such a fun chat, and so many people were here, and that makes me so happy. But check out my video tomorrow, and if you showed up to this one late, you can check it out in like 5 or 10 minutes. It'll be up on my channel. But thank you guys so much for being here, and I can't wait for the next 2 episodes, actually. So I hope you have a great rest of your night, and I will see you guys really, really soon. Bye, guys.